But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
I think you're the most attractive of all my parents' friends. I mean that.
It's the Al Travis Show. We love having him on. He's Minnesota sports lifer Paul. Long time no see, my friend.
Yeah, holiday break got extended. Yeah.
But I want folks to know, Paulie did not, we went on holiday break. Yes, I got that. And then the first Friday back, I messed up. Paulie did not mess up on this. And I would like to people to understand. We basically run on a 2-week loop. You're on every week. There's folks that are on every week, and that pattern stays. But there are some folks, basically politicians, are like every other week. They can make it this week, that week. So I have to copy and paste my list. This week goes down to the next week. And because you weren't on 2 weeks earlier because of Christmas, and I was out, the spot was blank.
Yeah.
And then I filled it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot my buddy Paul. Well, that was so on me.
We've all been there, though. That's a Microsoft issue. Copy paste. Why did I copy that week, or why did I? Everybody's done that, and just like,
it's kind of like easy. It's kind of like my garbage pickup. They do the recycling first and third Thursday. You can't put that in calendars, right? It'll go every other week. It'll go every week. You can do it, but it won't go first and third Thursday and then fill up. And I'm like, crap, now I got to go through the whole year. And I put and pay. We're in 2026. Yeah. They should be able to figure that out. Get on it, Google Calendar.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's a lot of things that are first and third. And then that means there's 2 months where there isn't, there's a 2-week break because you get an extra week. Yeah.
And then you have a lot of extra recycling. That when you get to the third week, the bin is packed. Just saying.
Really? Okay.
Well, you don't know this yet, but you
should.
For
Christmas, yeah. I mean, I haven't filled up the recycling since I unpacked the TV when I had a big old cardboard. But.
All right. Another thing I can, if you don't mind, and it's not sports related, we'll get to sports, I promise. I got an email from a guy, and I'm not going to use his name. I'll go into this real deep in the next one because it's more about politics. But basically was upset with yesterday's programming that he thought it was back-to-back-to-back Republicans. And I showed that I'm not I mentioned that if you're not hearing what you want to hear, let me know. And I used that line a lot because I'm serious about it. And he goes, you're just a right winger. And I'll talk about it. Anyway, you have been my best friend. I don't know, since like 6th grade, 7th grade, we met. We started hanging out in 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Am I lying to call myself a right wing knucklehead? Would you think that's a decent labeling of me?
Again, I'm not a labeler. You're very conservative, and you're consistent with that. You can read that lots of ways.
Sure, but on the other hand, now again, I would mention you being one of my best friends of all time. You are not. I don't want to label you because you don't want to label. You are not a right wing knucklehead, as I would label myself.
I am not. No.
Yeah.
No. I lean the other way.
Okay, and we have had. How many hours, roughly, do you think in our lifetimes around a fire pit, on a golf course, not agreeing on things politically?
Yeah, we've had some spirited discussions.
Exactly. But yeah, we can still be friends, right? And I guess that's what I'd like people to know. I'm not doing this for a radio shtick. I believe what I believe, and I know my buddy Paul believes what Paul believes, but if we can talk about it over a beer and a cigar, and I know you don't like a lot of cigars, but that's probably your worst fault, then we can get along. And I want this show to be that way. So this guy, I get it, he listened to 3 bits back to back, and you're all right wing. Listen to the whole show and get a flavor of what we're talking about. That's what I'd like this show to be, is the Paul and Al show.
Well, for that call, is to judge a show on the one day's programming isn't really fair. You got to look at it long term. I know you try to bring in people from all sides and all stripes. I will say that it has always been hard to have some of these conversations. I'm not going to change your mind on some things, and you're not going to change my mind on some things. But it's scary out there right now, and so it's very hard to wonder why people support this or that. So
and I think we've lost a little something. And let me just throw it out there. The only politics we'll do on the sports bit. We used to, and you and I still do, but there used to be a time when we all wanted America to be the greatest of all time, and we differed on how to get there, right? You might want to do this way, I want to do it this way, and then we're trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's now, this is me, a faction that doesn't believe America is great and deserves to be great because of how we started or whatever you want to. However, I think now there's a group, and it's a pretty vocal group, isn't sports analogy rowing the boat in the same direction. Now we might want to go different direction. You take left, I'll take a right, and we'll go up but we're not trying to get to the same spot. And that's what I think is ripping us apart. Is that crazy theory?
No, I guess I see that as, people who are trying to occupy a state, they're not rowing in the right direction at all.
Okay, again,
and I also think it, for my take is on it, it's not that America isn't great, it's that America wrote down a great plan and we're not executing on that plan properly.
Okay.
And the trying to hold the country to the right standards that it put on paper. Are people being treated equally? As no. How do we fix that? Or the Bill of Rights. Everything in the Constitution. Are we living up to what we put on paper? And Martin Luther King talked about that. Just live up to what you wrote, and we're not. And so people are trying to make some changes to that.
And you and I might argue whether the way they're going about that, executing that change, might be a little extreme. I don't like shooting fireworks at any police officer. We have other ways. Is that fair? Is that a
and I don't like populating a federal agency with white supremacists and January 6th defendants.
We got to do sports. I appreciate it. I'm going to go in depth. Well, we don't have to, but I didn't ask you to. You aren't ready for this. You showed up with 90 seconds. I've been thinking about this last night. I come from the right. I'm not trying to hide it from anybody, but I want you to be able to come on and say what you want. Now, we do a sports bit more than anything else. So I just wanted you to confirm that I am a right-wing knucklehead, even though you don't use those terms. I do.
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're owning it. You're owning, also, and this is where the conversations around the fire pit, I'll leave it alone here, but the conversations on the fire pit are that, that we all need to look in the mirror a little bit. And when things that we think we've held dear for a long time get challenged by some realities, so when our side is doing things that shouldn't be happening, we need to be able to look in the mirror and call that out and say, I don't agree with that.
100%.
At all. The tactics, or, I don't think we should be going this way or that way, or
100%.
It's very hard to do. It's very hard to look in the mirror.
You know why it's hard?
Easy to point at everybody else and look at the problems out there, and that nobody's willing to really look at themselves.
I would point the problem on, because most people don't have enough courage of their conviction. We're going to go to break, so we have time to just take a breath and talk sports after this. The courage of their convictions to stand up for what they quote unquote believe and do it in a manner we can all get along with. I blame all the leadership, from Orange Guy at the top, Walzer in the middle, on down, management, the people we put into power. Both sides have to stand up and say, this isn't right. You don't have to watch TV more than 20 minutes to see this isn't right. We might not agree who's wrong. We all need to take a step back, and that starts at the top. It starts at both of them. If that's Trump, let's pull back the troops. We don't need 2,000. Great. If it's Walz saying, get off the streets now, stand on the sidewalk and take pictures, nothing more. We've got to get management, because there are enough people, I think, that are just listening to their politicians and doing whatever they say. We got to have more individuals in the world making up their own mind.
And courage.
And courage. Absolutely. Got to go to break. We're going to talk sports. He's a sports guy. It's Paul on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are. Your friends at the Capitol. And we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
There's never a good time for car trouble, especially when you've got places to be. Whether it's a mysterious rattle under the hood or just time for that routine oil change, you need a mechanic you can trust. That's where Jay's Auto in Blue Earth comes in. From strange noises to engine diagnostics, Jay and his team provide honest service at a fair price. They're proud to keep their neighbors on the road safely season after season. Don't wait for a breakdown. Stop at Jay's Auto today or call 525-1052.
As in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
And Minnesota Sports Oliver Paulie and I are the same age, and he's going to blame it on vegetables, but this sucks getting old, Paul. I have notes that I take that we're going to talk about, and I put a one word down to remind me, and I do not remember what it meant. I wrote it an hour and a half ago. Remember to talk to Paul, and I don't remember. So we're not going to talk about that.
Like an acronym or something, and you don't remember.
Yeah. I'm like, it is heck getting old. I do have this down. I know what I was. Coy Parrish. Can we talk about him quick? The Minnesota Viking or Gopher football guy, both sides, great athlete. I would tell you the best athlete we had on this team in years. Sayonara, going to Oregon.
Yeah,
see you later. I hate this tunnel thing, the transfer portal. Hate it.
No, I had seen some stats though that he had a good first year, but his second year as a cornerback, his numbers were terrible. He did not. There was a quarterback rating against him on the passes aimed at him was like over 100. So he really wasn't performing that well. And so I say sayonara. You find something better. You want to be a Duck? Okay. That's fine. I think the PJ has gotten a lot of guys coming into the portal as well, through the portal rather. And so I'm not worried about it. I think every year is going to be different. Guys aren't going to need to stay long. And, was he the best athlete we've seen in years? Yes. Results on the field? Not so much. I'm not worried about it.
But he didn't go because of more playing time, right? I mean, to showcase his stuff for the NFL, he went and he's going to get paid. That's the problem with this whole system, the NIL and the rest. He's going to get paid because there's only so much you're going to make in Minnesota.
It could be that, or it could be, maybe a thing about, coaching or program, or who knows what, maybe he's got other reasons to want to leave the state. I don't know. We have no idea why, but it's not going away, Al. I mean, you're going to have to accept it.
I think things will change. There's a big thing. We're not talking sports betting, but a big deal where a bunch of players in basketball were now being arraigned, or whatever you want to call it, on shaving points. That could change the whole money thing, but I don't want to talk about that. You brought up, and that's one of the notes I took, how much you're liking the coach of the men's basketball team. Give me your bust down. You're seeing we've got a chance kind of mentality going on here that I like with this men's team. Go ahead.
They're gritty and tough, and they're built for Big Ten basketball. They don't just take a hit, they deliver it, and it's really fun to watch. And the barn is responding, so they're getting a lot of fans to come out. The place is getting loud. In the past, Wisconsin, they're typically a top 20, 25 team. We've lost to them big usually. The fact that it took them a last second three to beat us, that's it. I'm not for moral victories, but we're competing in every single game, that we're at. Even the Purdue game we lost on the road. I mean, who can go to Purdue and win? We hung with them for a half. So I like everything about it. He draws up great plays outside of timeouts. His coaching skills, he knows what he's got, and he knows how to make the best of it. I think it's going to be an attractive place to come play, and he's delivered some great wins already. So we can actually dream about making the tournament this year. If you get 500 in the Big Ten, and this is a very tough conference, probably the toughest in the country, you got a chance to make the tournament. So let's dream about March Madness. Get to the play-in game, go to Dayton, do that. I mean, it's been a long time.
As a dad of three boys in the Blue Earth area, I'm all for moral victories. This is how we survived mentally.
Throwing his kids under the bus. Okay.
Well, let's just say they weren't Koi Perchich okay. They were fine athletes in their own right. I'm in so much trouble. We beat number 22 Indiana. You love that. You lose to number 6 Purdue, like you say, which was really, they wiped us up fine. They're number 6 Purdue. I get that. You end up beating 19 Iowa, like you say, Wisconsin generally top, and you lose with a last second 3. This team gives it to me. They beat Southern California in overtime. They're in every game, like you said. How do you see us going out? We have Illinois, always fun to play. Ohio State, you want to beat Nebraska, Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan. I mean, it's just bam, 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 bam.
Oh yeah,
get your
every
tickets.
Game. Yeah, and Nebraska, are they still undefeated? I think so. They've got going on with Fred Hoiberg, the coach down there, and talk about an upside down world, right? When is Nebraska basketball, ranked that high, and an Indiana football ranked that high, right? That's just we're in the upside down world right now.
Did you watch that show? The Upside Down World, what is that? Stranger Things?
Stranger Things? Yeah, I haven't watched the new season, but yeah, I've watched all 4. So
you gotta watch the ending. It was fantastic. You brought up an Upside Down World, so go watch that. Let me ask you this: your Wolves, you're feeling it for them? What are your thoughts?
They're rolling. They got a nice groove going right now, and the win against San Antonio, which is a good young team,
good comeback,
and the way they did it, with Ant taking down Wemby at the end, got the isolation and drove to the hoop on him. That was electric. Target Center was shaking after that one. They've got a rematch here, Houston tonight, and then San Antonio. It's a back-to-back. It's going to be tough on the road in Texas, but then they get a couple of hopefully cupcakes, Utah and Chicago. So they're doing a nice job staying in the top 3 there. They're going to have a home court, I think, in the first round. And so it's setting up to be a nice little run. And I think they've got what they need. I don't know that they need to go and.
Well, that was going to ask. Do you do any trading to find a point guard or anything between now and the trade deadline?
They're making it work pretty well. I mean, they're getting good minutes from Bones Highland off the bench. Dante's doing fine, kind of assuming that role. He's getting more minutes. I don't know that I'd go crazy. And because, if you have a trade, you're going to have to give something up. What of this mix do you want to give up? Jalen Clark's energy on defense off the bench, he just hounds people. I'm kind of waiting for Naz Reid to get a little more consistent. He's had a up and down this year, and he's a fan favorite. So it's going to be a good run. I'm excited.
He's the only jersey I own. I love that guy, and he's not having the year that he had last year when I bought the jersey. But we're still Nas fans. I got to fly. I'm out of town.
All right, you stop buying jerseys. That's the answer. So.
Well, I do, because then they make just the ugliest ones sometimes. I'm not buying that ugly stuff. Okay, got to go back. It's the Al Travis Show. We've got him, Paul, Minnesota sports lifer.